Okay, so everyone, it's time for the second section, and I should be giving the introduction about Miss Ngan, but she like to make the introduction and activity itself, like an interactive activity. So I'll leave it to her. Is it okay, Miss Ngan?
Thank you very much. Okay, okay. I welcome questions before we can start stuff. Could you please? You don't have anything to ask? I'm so excited.
Okay, I'm gonna just start asking, how's your morning going?
My morning it's been great. I was busy dealing with the MS Teams as always. Yeah, it's just like lots of stuff, and I have students to help me out. It's great. Yeah. What do you think the different teaching platforms like Zoom Teams mean in class? Well, um, it depends on how often you use one. That is the thing, because when you're familiar with it, you find it easy. But if you don't use it often, it's somehow bizarre. And I use Zoom more often, and I find it the easiest for me. That's what I see. Yeah, the easiest, because actually teaching online, we use like other tools to help us if we want students to write on something, or we want to host some other activities. We use other tools. But with MS Teams, there are like stuff that we need to set up, and I find it kind of like it's not for me. It seems like so it's not for me. Yeah, but if I have to use it, yes, I need to learn it. It's
Miss
okay.
Ngan, I think you can send the link to Slido yourself into the chat box because it requires me to sign it.
Oh, 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 okay. But then, how
The
can?
link. Yeah, you can send it right into the chat box right here.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, so share the link with participants. Sure. What do you usually use, man? Yeah, we're using Teams, and it took me like the whole morning. And every time I start using Teams, it's it's like another class to learn, to take part in. Lots of struggles, but it's okay. That is the Slido. I need you guys to turn on the Slido first, because that's where I would like you participate into my part by answering the questions. Okay, with the Slido, you will see the QR code that I would like you to plug in. You scan it. Mhm. Okay, are you signing up the Slido? All right. So what you need is a phone. I'm not so sure if you're using your phone now for this seminar, but we have. Okay, it takes time. I change it in an easier way now. hmm I would like you guys to type in the chat box. Okay, answer my questions. Okay, if you are teaching online full time, yeah, where you from? And you said yes if you are teaching online full time. Type in the chat box. Chop, chop, chop. 1 minute for you. Go. Mm-hmm. And where you come from? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Great. Two people. What about the other one? Oh, tutoring. Okay. Tutoring, teaching. Mm-hmm. So two, three. You're from Ho Chi Minh City. And oh, nice. Nice. Yep. Ho Chi Minh City. So who comes from anywhere but not Ho Chi Minh City? Mm. Yeah, it could be because of internet connection, therefore information is coming. Oh, Australia. Okay. All right. Hmm. Okay, cool. So with your answers over there, could you please answer another question? That is the problems or the challenges that you have faced when teaching online. Of course, we usually got the top thing, that is the internet connection, right? Like what we've done today. The student silence. Oh. Mm-hmm. Turn off the camera. So bad, so bad. Yeah, and the teacher is like Robinson. on an island. Is that right? Working on your own, talking to yourself. The students do not understand what's happening on the screen. Oh, yeah, because of the internet connection. Oh, they like to use Vietnamese. Oh, we have to use Vietnamese, or they use Vietnamese. Reading, not speaking. Oh, when they present. Show. Fluency of the competence. Why is that? Why they can't not show what the range of competence? Why not? Parents interferes. Yeah, interference. Parent walking around, right? Tech problems. Yeah. Students collaboration. They don't do homework online. Uh-oh. They do not turn the camera. They do the homework online. Wow. Okay. Background noises. Okay. Yeah, I got that too. That's why I can say all of the teachers, not most, ask their students to mute themselves. Is that right? Or the teachers will mute the students. The lesson do not interest the students. Oh, that is the teacher's job. That is the teacher's job, right? Difficult to organize the activities. What kind of activities are you mentioning? So do they need training? They really need training, right, man? Training online, teaching online, games. What do you mean by games? But they're still stuck with teaching online. Okay. All right. Nice. So lots of problems. Yeah. They do a lot, but they still have problems. Why? Is it because of yeah, like what you said, they're not confident? What do they want? Really, what do they really want? A mother, a teacher, and an assistant, like all in one? So what kind of standard? I'm scared of that. And it says like the standard. Well, but then the thing is, both teachers and students' perceptions, they need to know that they have to adapt with what's happening. Is that right? Because like teachers, they cannot do teaching offline all the time because of the COVID-19. So they need to adapt, they need to change. And the students, the same. They can't expect an online class is similar to an offline class. Yeah. So that is the perceptions at this point. So I'm not so sure how the training in your place, how it went, but I believe that the teachers need to adapt. I think, great. Okay. Students don't focus on the lesson. Yes. Yes, I got that. All right. Yeah. So with online courses, and of course, as what I mentioned when I talked to Mr. Min, that we don't just use only one platform, like we use Zoom only or MS Teams only, or could be Google Meet or anything. But then we have other tools to support us. As some teachers already asked, like if you want to let the students play games, what we're gonna use, because we cannot play games on Zoom. It's weird because you don't support it, right? I don't see any Zoom functions support games, but it's just like sharing things. So we need to use other tools to help. Okay, but in my section today, what I would like to focus is on the instructions, because what we challenge the teachers to teach the students, as what you already typed over here, I can see, like the students don't get what you say. The students do and the lesson's not interesting enough for the students, or they don't do the task you assign, or they don't collaborate with you, or whatever. Why is that? Is it because what you said to the students is not clear enough? They don't totally get what you're saying. Is that right? Yeah. So here, we usually say we try to make our classes the student-centered classrooms, right? But then now it's like two sides. One, the teacher solely sitting in front of the camera, and it's the same to the students. So now it's not just one person, but how we can make both teacher and students work together. because without communication, without information, then I don't think that the class would go the way the teachers want it to go. So here is just something about me. You can read about that. All right. Yeah. So there are a lot of things that we need to work, and the instructions are really important. Therefore, today I would like to give some solutions with the instructional strategies for online courses. Oh, it's quite white now. What's that? It's cool here, right? It's quite dark before. Oh yeah. So with the online learning environment, it goes with we cannot. It's not easy for us to go with the instruction. It's not developed, especially for the online instruction, but we will try. So here are some recommendation on the instructions that I would like to give you today. So we will go through one by one with the learning contracts or the discussion or a lecture, because there are ways for us to teach in offline classes. So are there ways for us to teach in online classes too? All right. So we go with the first one, the yeah, the learning contracts. What is that? When you see the word learning contracts, what's in your mind? Can you type in the chat box, please? Because why? Because the learning contract will it brings a lot of practical benefits to including deeper involvement of the learner in the learning activities that they've been involved in planning. Everything's planned between the teacher and the students. So when they pass this, the stage, they pass the confusion and the anxiety. You see that? Because as what you mentioned, they don't do the task that you assigned. Why? Because there's involvement. They're still anxious. They're still confused about what you ask us. We ask them to do. We as teachers. So another benefit I could see that the learning contract could provide more functional and validated evidence of learning outcomes. When you can see that, yeah, sense of responsibility. Yeah. So they can re-engage them through commitment. Yes, I totally agree with you. Yes. Thank you. So because when we meet the class, when we meet with the class to discuss the learning, we need the learning goals, the objectives, the expectations, and things. Do you see that happen online or not? Because normally when we go with the class, it's like at the end of the class you do this, and in the class you do that, blah blah blah, right? But how it goes online. So we need to be very clear and very concise in what we expect from the learners. Yeah, so with this one, we encourage the students to brainstorm the ideas for learning contracts with their online peers. So we just kind of convert what we've done in the offline classes into the online classes. Yep. I believe that with this way, you guys can easily do it with your students. Once we have agreement, or we call it a contract. Yeah, a very big word. And then we can negotiate and we finalize the contract with the students. And then we let them used to working. Yeah, now we need to email, or we need to have like a formal agreement between the teacher and the students. Yeah. So this is one way of instruction, the contracts. And the second one, Mr. Bo. Mr. Bo, are you there? Okay, with lecture. Do you think that lecture is how you go? Do you find that at the moment what we're doing, the teacher in front of the computer lecturing the students all the time? So what do you think about lecturing? So when it comes to the word lecture, is that we as teachers are like expert? Do you think so? Because the lecture is one of the most, like we can say, frequently used instructional methods. We use in the classroom. But if we are good lecturers, so we know our students and we can develop our lectures. It depends, of course, on the students' needs. Like what you said previously, the students need a standard from the teacher, right? And we kind of scared the standard teachers, or the teachers don't meet the students' standard. So it's tough. But with lectures, what we gonna do? Do we have notes related with the resources or with the other websites? Then the learners can review. Yeah. So how would you choose the correct topic? How would you choose the topics? You say like, yeah, can you share some?
Okay. So actually, like, in the last week, I had something I call like the most successful lecture that I've ever given online, and it actually dealt with the topic of critical thinking. You know, well, most of my students would actually be from Gen Z generation. So yeah, and the cohort that I work with, they're surprisingly interested in critical thinking. You know, everyone wants to think like they want to have the skill to think critically. So we must be able to choose a topic that actually triggers them. So for example, you have in a lecture, you should be able to show that what they're thinking is not, like up to the standard, like they may be accurate, they might be inaccurate. So if you are actually trying to prove that something that they're having is wrong, and then you can prove the other way around, and then you can show them a pathway so they can move up to that point where you consider it standard. So that's when the lecture can be successful, because it is actually quite difficult to attract the attention, considering the fact that there are a lot of distractions online. For them not to open YouTube or Facebook just to listen to you through Zoom. So the topic choice is key. So I think you need to have customer insights. So I'm using a marketing term in teaching that. So we need to have the target insights, like the student insights. You know what they want.
Yeah.
So yeah, a bit of research there.
Yeah, so we need to do the research on what, on their insight, right? And then we can just like hook in and they get interested in what you're saying because that's what they need. They want to hear. Is that right? So the topics are really important. But that is with lecture. Yeah. And then like sometimes if the lectures last so long, we can break it into smaller ones with like tiny break. Do you agree with me? But the break is not like really break. With long lectures. Yeah, but that is teachers' techniques. How we can go with that? Because a lot of people when they come into lecture and they just try to finish the lecture, it's not try to communicate and interact with the listeners or the students, and then like drag them into the topic. Okay, yeah, great, thank you. Yeah. But then with the lecture, because like now when we do online, we can record things. And if like a lot of students, they cannot like join in, like for example, this morning, they cannot join in, but then they can watch the video later. Is that right? And some might regret that they didn't participate into the lecture or the seminar because of like really interesting like topics and questions and interaction. Yep. In the section. Yep. All right. Yeah, thank you. The topics are really important for the lecture. Lecturer, I totally agree with you. All right. Yeah, but that was lecture. So how many of you here find yourself easy go with lectures? If you find it easy, type yes. If not, type no or 50-50. Yeah. As we mentioned earlier, we have a lot of like tools. Like we can write on the we can get what data, people's opinion, write on Slido, like what I tried to use at the beginning, or a lot of fun games. Is that right? Like icebreaker in the middle of the lecture. Yes, lots of tools, cool tools. Yeah. So that is for lecture. We come to the next one. This one. Some people just posted, just wrote down to say the student kept silent in the class. Yeah, the students, they keep silent. Silence class. Just teacher talking time. Teacher talks all the time. And out there, students turn off the camera, they turn off the mic, and they maybe They're probably sleeping. Yeah. Yeah, but then when we need to change it from lectures with a lot of tools, with a lot of with the right topic. Yeah, we tackle them, we trigger them, we activate them with questions and with brainstorming ideas. Yeah, for them to questions back. But then it's just like one asks one, one answering one, so it's not fun. We do need discussion. Yeah, thank you for Miss Tan with the games. We can talk about it later. All right, with discussion. So who usually likes discussion? Do kids like discussion? Do teens like discussion? Or adults like discussion? Can you type the chat box? Adults. You guys can turn on the mic and talk and share. That could be fast for us too. Yeah. Depends on the topic. Kids participate more like within teams. Chatting. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So when it comes to the discussion, yeah, that's why the teacher's role is really important. If we don't come into smaller groups, smaller teams to see what they're doing, because we say some of them, they turn off the camera, they don't talk to each other, and then they just talk for like, they just say 1 or 2 sentences and they stop over there and silent again in the room. Is that right? Yeah, but here with the discussion, for sure, that most adult learners favor discussion, right? And teens and kids, they prefer chatting. They prefer chatting. Yeah, it's not the discussion, because discussion we need to discuss about a certain topic, like the question, the teacher's questions. Yeah. So what is the discussion? Discussion that is where the learners have to analyze like alternative ways of thinking and acting. Yeah. But I believe that the teenagers who are at a bit higher level, like intermediate up, they can do discussion well. Yeah, because they need to discuss. But with the lower level students, it's not easy. They need teacher support. Oh, you have 2 devices to join 2 rooms. One room is discussions. How can you do that, Miss Me? Can you share? Exactly. Task design. Miss Me, can you share that with us? You use 2 devices to join 2 rooms. How could you do that? Miss Me, are you there? Okay, one is a laptop and one is the iPhone. But if you have like 3 groups or 4 groups, like I have 34 students in 33, 34 students, and I have to break them into smaller groups, like 3 or 4, then we have around 10 groups. Yeah. Then how? Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. It depends on the time. Number one, it depends on the task, what you require them to do. And also it depends on the number of the participants in the group, how many students in the group. And then again, like how long you have for the class. Yeah, if you have like 10 minutes, meaning you have how long like you need for one group. So that's what I count. But I'm teaching English, but then I have to count the time, do a calculation too. Yeah, and then like, yeah, I have like around 2 or 3, and like in case the teams or the groups need my help, so I need to jump in and help them. Yeah, I do randomly check too, if I don't have much time for a group discussion, so I just jump in and check. But you know, the learners, they are very smart. If you do it once and then they know that you might be in, you might go into the classrooms. Yeah, the groups. Yeah, so then they will try, because if not, then they get punished somehow by the teacher. Yeah, I totally agree with you. With a smaller size class, yes. Oh yeah, we have a different tools to help the discussion. But if that is the reading discussion, or that is the speaking discussion. Okay, we do brainstorming, or we really want them to practice. Change your way, they're surprised. What do you mean to change your way? Miss Tan, right? Miss Tan, can you share? Can you turn on your mic and share? Change your way, they're surprised. What would you change over here? Okay, I got what you meant now. Yeah, Gen Z now, they are very smart, they are very flexible, and they are very fast too. They're really fast. They know like much better than we do. Like this morning, my students, they helped me with the MS Teams. Like, you need to do this and this and this. You try this and this and this and that. I was like, that's amazing. Or when I asked them to do the presentation, I was like, wow, how could you do that? It's just they don't have their English proficiency. They need to improve. But well, they got lots of skills over there. Okay. Yes, that's we discussed about the discussion. With the discussion, so we have, yeah, Mr. Bro, please help. We have the self-directed learning. Do you see? I put it over here. Do you think this way works with our students? Why or why not? Mr. Wu, yeah, you want to share?
Yeah, actually, this is something that I have been studying for a while. So, self-directed learning is actually a trait of adult learners. So basically, you cannot use it with young learners. Teens learners somehow, but to define adult learners, it is not about the biological side. It's more about their psychology. So there are a certain number of qualities that if one reaches and can acquire those qualities, they can be classified as an adult learners. And yeah, but and you know, self-directed learning is somehow one way that adults learn. There are other ways, but like it doesn't mean that self-directed learning doesn't mean that the student does everything on themselves, but actually they learn with guidance and support. But they will they are enabled to do some kinds of complex tasks, and they need to be able to identify learning resources. They need to be able to accommodate the learning on their own. They would also need to learn how to evaluate the result of the learning process on by themselves as well. And yeah, but support must be available when they require. That's the point. And I do think that self-directed learning is something that should be encouraged in online learning because first, students have a lot of support. You know, they have their internet connection with like the immense resources online that they can make use of. They have their own independence, the autonomy that I mean that they are not trapped in the four walls of the classroom. So that in some way it restricts their socialization with other students. In other way, it allows a certain level of freedom which they can make use of. So yeah, I do think that self-directed learning is something that should be encouraged, and and you know the teachers need to learn more about how they can facilitate self-directed learning not only for the student's sake but also for the teacher, because usually when the teacher can self-regulate their learning, the burden that lies on the shoulder of teacher it does not lessen, it does not decrease, but we change the road, and that road it gives us more insight into the students' learning.
Yeah. Thank you. And the students in this the self directed learning, I believe it's for the independent learners, right? For independent learners who are involved and motivated and active while they are learning. Yeah. And of course, without guidance, like a bit control is not easy, especially for teens. Yeah. Thank you. All right. So we move to the next one. Thank you for sharing. And if you guys want to help, like because with the self-directed learnings, they can go study them for themselves. So they need, like Mr. Wu just shared, they have internet, so they can explore things on their own. If they have support, like they have libraries or other resources, so they can enjoy learning on their own. But I believe that with Zen, especially Zen Z now, they're doing that very well. All right. The next one, that is the mentorship. the mentorship. So the aim of the mentorship is to promote the learner development, drawing out and giving form that the students have already knows. Yeah. So at this point, the mentor is rather a guide than a provider of knowledge, as what it is over there, a mentorship. So what is the benefit of online mentorship you could think about when it comes to mentorship? What do you think the major benefit on online mentorship? So you see that because it's a mentorship. Therefore, this is a chance for for the frequent and very convenient communication interaction between the mentor and the students. Yeah, it could be every day or weekly or I don't know, 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, yeah. And we have like all the ways to communicate to mentor the students, right? That's what are you mentioning? Yeah. And then with this one, we have chances, we have opportunities to feedback on students' questions and concerns and issues very timely. Exactly. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Are you using this technique in your online teaching? Show care. Yeah. Yeah. The care. If the students see that the teachers care a lot, yeah, on his or her study and even like other things around, so they will very easily communicate and share more. All right. Yeah. So with the next one, this one, I believe that a lot of us use. Can Mr. Bo help me with the?
I'm sorry, but I think we're running out of time.
Okay.
So I think that you can put your contact details on the screen so that people can
Okay. If you
contact you.
want
Yeah,
my,
for more. Everyone, please contact her because I see that there are like 8 more slides to go, and that's 8 more techniques and great discussion because we are all dealing with online teaching with a lot of challenges, and yeah, that will be very interesting that we can tackle them all. So please, okay. So everyone, I'd like to spare the next 10 minutes for Mr. Doom to check with the technical aspects.
Thank you. Thank you for your great presentation, Ms. Ngan. Yeah.
Oh yeah, thank you. I'm sorry I haven't done all of the stuff, but from the first slide of the content with some solutions given, I hope that you guys can have an idea of how you guys gotta go with the classes and how we can help the students in and helping ourselves too, especially helping ourselves in teaching online. And we do learning online too, right? We learn from each other.
Okay, that's great. That's very interesting. Thank you very much. Thank you again for your great presentation. Yeah, this kind of we learn new techniques, new way, and I don't think that when we are able to return to the offline, the physical classroom, online learning is something that will not disappear. It will become an option rather than an obligation like now.
I believe that the offline the online teaching methods, the offline learning teaching methods support online teaching methods and vice versa. Because like we've been doing a lot with online things and we find solutions for a lot of like challenges and problems. But then when we go back to go back to normal, right? I believe that a lot of teachers will use even like tools we try to apply what we've done for online classes into offline classes. Like either this or that way, what we want to do is to help the students to get the best like learning atmosphere with us, and of course at the end the outcomes of the lesson that hit what we already aimed at the beginning when we do the lesson planning. Yeah.